We are the luckiest radio show in the country as we are joined by LSU women's head basketball coach, Coach Kim Mulkey, legend, Hall of Famer, couple of Hall of Famers on the staff, which is especially appropriate given that LSU will be taking on Seton Hall Day at the Basketball Hall of Fame Showcase at the Mohegan Sun. That game is going to be on FS1 tonight. Make sure to check it out. Seton Hall 8-2, LSU 12-0. Seventh time in school history. Coach Mulkey, what's going on? How we feeling?
Well, I'm walking through the casino, guys. You want me to pull one of these little levers on this slot machine for you?
Yeah, put it on black.
Yeah, Coach, just go put like $5 on red 18. It's going to hit.
That's what you want. I stay away from all this stuff because I guess I'm just frugal with my money. I work too hard for it. I don't want to give it away. But now I'll sit and watch people gamble. That's quite interesting.
Look, Coach, I mean, NIL, maybe just grab a couple $100,000, put it on black, and, maybe that's another player out the portal. You never know.
Well, we're used to seeing casinos in Louisiana, but if you've not ever been to the Mohegan Sun, it's in Uncasville, Connecticut, and actually I was inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame here.
Yep.
They had a big, this is where they held it, and so this event with the 4 teams here, I want to say it's the first inaugural event, and they asked if we would, be a part of it. So I agreed, and we play Seton Hall, and then right after us, UConn will play Iowa State.
Well, and it's crazy, Coach. Speaking of the Hall of Fame ties, because, again, you yourself in the Naismith Hall of Fame, Simone Augustus also going to the Hall of Fame earlier this year, and from what I understand, they're actually planning on honoring Simone Augustus at halftime.
Well, you know more than I do. I just I have not heard that.
All I'm saying is it must
know,
be exceedingly rare for 2 Hall of Famers to be on one staff.
Well, we're blessed, aren't we? And Gino, of course, is in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
But, guys, I tell people this all the time. If you look at our small state geographically, we're small, right? Louisiana,
right.
The boot. You think about all the great athletes, men that come out of our state. It's really amazing, both in basketball, football, baseball, from North Louisiana to South Louisiana. I sit sometimes and go, I don't think people just realize how many we produce in our state.
No, you're right about that, Coach. I mean, per capita, I know in the NFL, it is always one of the leaders.
Yeah.
In all of the states. In the New Orleans area, you're right, though. It's like from New Orleans all the way to Shreveport, everywhere in between. And so that's one of those good things, though, because that means you can stay in state and recruit in state.
Have a good day, man.
It's, we're young. Can y'all hear me? If
Yes.
I lose you, it's because I'm walking through this place heading to our shoot-around at 10 o'clock our time. I just think back to North Louisiana, the little small towns, and you think of Willis Reed, and you think of Robert Parrish from Shreveport, and then you go to football with Terry Bradshaw, Joe Ferguson. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. Coach, how about this? So the UL game the other day, a solid win. I know you were under the weather. But Coach Starkey did not mince words after the game. Highly critical of the offensive sloppiness in the first half, highly critical of a lack of defensive focus in the second half. Now, if you just listen to Coach Starkey's words, you would have thought it was a loss, right? Not another dominant win, but that's the standard that you'll hold yourselves to. What do you think is holding the team back from a full 60 minutes right now? Or 60
Well, it's a good thing, Coach. It's a good thing Coach Starkey filled in for me. And I wasn't feeling good, and probably the way we played had a lot to do with it as well. So he was very blunt, as I am, and it's turnovers, guys. You played on the line. Weren't you a center at some point, T-Bob?
Yep.
They move you around on that line.
Yes, ma'am.
If y'all turn the ball over offensively all the time, the defense gets frustrated with you.
Yep.
You can't win ball games. You can't beat anybody good if you turn the ball over. We had 17 turnovers in the first half. Now, I'm also one, give credit to the opponent. When those turnovers happen, are they careless? Are they on our part? Or is it something the defense and the opposing team did? It wasn't what UL did. We just flopped around, and we can make excuses. We can talk about finals. We can talk about focus. We can talk about, hey, Christmas is coming. We're not focused on basketball. You can talk about that all you want. At the end of the day, you got to clean it up. And sadly, you're having to have this conversation when you're ranked in the top 5 in the country. You're undefeated. And it's like, well, they're not pleased with anything. We know the game. Bob's coached it on all levels. I've coached it a long time, and if you don't clean it up, you're going to get beat by people you shouldn't lose to.
And look, right now, to be clear, 12-0, 7th time in school history that's been done. Lead the nation with 52 boards a game, plus 18 margin, also leads the country. Number 3 in scoring. But again, the standard is the standard. And it doesn't matter where you rank if you're not living up to the standard. He had one answer that I found to be very interesting, talking about he feels there's a bit of a leadership void, that at times there are people stepping up and leading, but missing a bit of consistent leadership. Do you agree? And if so, how do you look to rectify that?
I agree totally. You guys know Saban came to my practice a month or so ago. That's all we talked about, guys. It was leadership. And I said, Coach, why doesn't this generation and these young people want to lead? He said, because they want to be liked. And when you're a leader, you're not going to be liked all the time. And I said, I just don't get that. And I said, I get that some people lead by example. Some people lead with their verbal, with their mouth. I don't care what it takes. I just feel like that when things go south on that floor, a coach can lead you so far, but you're not on that floor with them. You're not in that huddle at the foul line to tell them what they need to do, to lift them, to pick them up. And I just, I struggle with leadership. That doesn't mean we don't have wonderful players, wonderful kids, good kids. But it's like, no, I don't want to do it today. Maybe tomorrow. Oh, I had a good game, so I'll lead today. I want to be that front runner today. Well, guess what? You got to lead when you have a bad game. You got to lead at all times. I can't go to work and have a bad day. Do I have bad days? Absolutely I do, but I have to hide it. And that's what leaders have to do. You have to hide your bad days, and you just got to bring it.
Well, Coach, you have 3 games left before you get to conference play, and you talked about a couple of things that you're looking for from your team. You got Seton Hall, and then you got a trip to Chicago and then Albany before you get to that SEC play on the road against Arkansas. But what is something that you want to get done in these next 3 non-conference games, or maybe what do you want to see from your team before you get into conference play?
Take care of the basketball.
Yeah.
We can score the ball. And even if we don't score the ball, I want us to be a team, as I always have been through my career. Mulkey's teams are going to rebound the ball. Mulkey's teams are going to defend you. On their worst offensive night, they're going to be able to stay in ball games because they do those 2 things. So as we play tonight, play 2 more days in Chicago, are we going to take care of the basketball? And if we can do that and not look sloppy and get better, then you go into the Christmas break happy. I get people say, oh, a win is a win, an ugly win, nobody knows. I get all that. But Bob and I know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We've been around this game a long time. And you got to do things the right way all the time.
And Seton Hall's gonna test it. LSU 3 of the last 5 games, over 20 turnovers. Seton Hall, one of the top teams in the country, forcing 21.7 per game. So definitely something to watch on FS1 tonight. Coach, one great element of the UL game was Jersey Wolfenbarger having a really big game. Enjoyed her comments post game. Do you howl when Jersey scores? Do you howl on the sideline, or do you leave that to the fans?
Well, you want all your players to do good. You want them all to have good games. It's not always going to happen. Jersey set out for a year. She never played after the first part of the season last year at Arkansas, so she's been away from the game, and I thought she did some really good things. We started her in that game. Jersey, for a tall, big girl, she moves her feet well defensively. She helps the perimeter players when their man drives. She's tall enough to get the rebound, and what we work on with her is just making her more physical. When you get that rebound, don't let people knock it out of your hands. And then, if you score the ball, then that's icing on the cake, and that's what she did the other day against UL. She scored the ball.
And then, Coach, what about Anissa Morrow, currently leading the nation with 10 double-doubles, the nation's leading rebounder as well? What have you seen out of Anissa's continued growth? And what more do you want to try to get out of her?
Well, Anissa's starting to see double teams like Angel Reese did last year. So, that doesn't surprise me. Get the ball out of her hands and let somebody else beat you. But it's not going to keep her from having her double-doubles because you can't block her out. When a shot's taken, Anissa's going to position herself to get an offensive board, and that's just work. That young lady is one of the hardest workers I've ever coached, and she'll be rewarded for it. She'll get her chance to play at the next level. She's an undersized post player and doesn't mind banging in there with them, and she never stops playing hard no matter how good or how bad she's playing.
Coach, we can't thank you enough. Last week, taking the time out of your walk to join us. Now it's game day. Practice coming up right around the corner. Best of luck. That's today, 5 p.m., FS1, LSU, Seton Hall. The Hall of Fame Classic. Simone Augustus going to be honored at halftime. Multiple Hall of Famers at the event. Coach, you're the absolute best. Thank you so much.
Hey, guys, y'all be good now.